What's up, guys? This is 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘, and you have reached the 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘 e-com channel. If you want to learn how to make money online or offline, then you need to be right here. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller. I'm also an honorably discharged Air Force veteran. Graduated from Penn State and started a career as a software engineer and leveraged that to build my businesses. If you guys have any questions on how to make money, you're going to find all your answers right here, so stay tuned.
Yo, welcome back to the channel, 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘, man. It feels like it's been forever since I've seen you guys. And I'm pretty sure you've been like, yo, where the hell's this guy been? Well, over the last few months, I have been busy rolling out new features for my automation program. Been building out a new warehouse, hiring more employees, doing all these different things to make life a little bit easier for all of you, okay? So let's talk about what the title of the video is, man. We're doing wholesale FBA automation. And right now we have a beta trial going on. I've been doing this for a couple clients. On the higher end, we've been doing a lot of industrial and scientific, products. But now we're going to open this up and do more general everyday products in a whole lot more categories, okay? So with the beta program, it's introductory, it's $15,000 versus something like $45 or $50 with some of the other wholesale FBA guys. Now, granted, this is going to go up. The price that it currently is not the price that it's going to be. And the reason being because the logistical pipeline, all right? Building out a warehouse, having all these employees, moving things here and there and having everything be labeled and all this shit, like their costs go up, okay? All right, that's just what it is. So why are we doing this per se? Why the move, why the shift? And it's not necessarily a complete move because we're still gonna be drop shipping all the things because you guys know I love drop shipping. But for the people that are a little bit more risk averse, wholesale FBA provides them a safety net of sorts, okay? And the reason being is because Amazon's not necessarily breathing down your neck. You're not beholden to suppliers with their delay in their logistical pipelines per se. Like you're still beholden to them somewhat, but we'll get into that. And Amazon's doing all the customer service, so you really don't have to worry about it. It's more of a set it and forget it type, even though it does take a little bit longer to scale up. Okay, so it does take longer to scale up. There is no doubt about that, and we're going to break down why that is right now. Let's go. All right, so with wholesale FBA, what can you expect? Why would this be a little bit better, as far as like risk adverse people go? Why is that? Well, as we mentioned before, you're not necessarily beholden to the supplier line, to the supply line when it comes to like late shipments and things like that. Amazon is taking care of the customer service, they're taking care of all the shipping, they're doing all this stuff. So the onus is on them. They're taking responsibility for your products, right? And if you guys know anything about drop shipping, there's just so many touch points that something is bound to go wrong, okay? Like a supplier is definitely gonna ship something out a little bit late. In some cases, they don't ship it out at all. There's also the, oh, I never received my item, they complain, you get an A to Z claim and you're fighting it and all this stuff. And it's a bunch of headache. There's customers that'll say, this is garbage, blah, blah, blah. They give you a 1-star review and all these different things. And there are a lot of touch points. Now, drop shipping is probably the fastest way to get like a cash flow positive business going. Even with the suspensions that happen, it's quick. Let's say you have a seasoned account. I could take a CSV file of a bunch of hot products, throw it into your store, and then boom, turn your store into a $100K a month store like that. Now, where the problem comes in, most people just don't have the cash flow. They don't have the capital necessary to do that, and you'll probably get suspended because Amazon's gonna wanna know, how did this dormant account go from nothing to 100K in a month just like that? And probably overnight. So, you do have to be mindful of certain things like that, but if those restrictions weren't necessarily in place, like you could blow that up, and then with the margins being roughly 8 to 12%, you cashing out that month very, very quickly. The same cannot be said for wholesale, right? So it takes time for the suppliers to package everything up and then send it into, to your warehouse, or if the suppliers are gonna be doing it themselves, labeling everything, putting the FNSKU on, all this stuff, shipping it into Amazon then getting it, receiving it, checking it in, and then adding it to your inventory on site. That could be anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks, and sometimes the supplier will not fulfill your order all at the same time. Sometimes you'll get 100 units here, 50 units here, 20 units here as those things come in and then ship out. So it takes a little while for your store to reach a homeostasis point, okay? that is where wholesale kind of falls by the wayside. Is it does take a little bit longer, and on top of that, whereas drop shipping, you're only purchasing the items as needed. You know, you're buying them piecemeal, like, oh, I got to order on Amazon, now I buy that item. With wholesale, you're buying all of that up front. Okay, now you're not necessarily spending $100,000 up front, because everyone feels that, oh, with wholesale, I can just throw $100,000 at the problem and here we go, you know, I can make all this money. And that's not true. Okay, so when you're doing wholesale, you have to be mindful that you have inventory limits. You'll probably, you know, be able to get 1,000 units in there, you know, over time, you know, within the first little bit. So you can't just throw $100,000 at the problem and be like, I'm going to make a ton of money, because you have to have a selling record, a selling history, in order for your limits to be raised. And Amazon will raise them over time, but it's going to take you months before you can get to the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you know, I'm not 6,000, but not $6,000, but 6,000 unit limit and beyond. You're not gonna have massive limits, so it doesn't necessarily matter how much money you have in the beginning. Okay, with drop shipping, yeah, you know, if you want to blow your account up, potentially, you know, get suspended and have 100K being held in there, like, sure, you know, I'll do whatever you want. But you got to accept that responsibility. Most people don't want to accept that responsibility, so wholesale is a little bit easier for them. Now, the margins are what they are, okay? I'd say 15 to 30% with wholesale is what we've been seeing. In some cases, it's going to be higher. Some cases, it's going to be a little bit lower. Whereas with drop shipping, it's routinely between 8 to 12%. Some months higher, some months lower, okay? So let's say with drop shipping, you're going to have a month where it's like, oh, damn, I did 4% because you got the buy box for a very, very, very hot item. The sales velocity was out of control, and you know, there's a lot of sellers on it. You had to drop the price to be competitive to get the buy box and sell. You're at 4%. Okay, with wholesale, that's generally not going to be the case. You're essentially just going to wait for people to run out of inventory, so that way you don't get down to like the 4%. Now, in some cases, you will hit 4% for certain items, but there will be other items that are just so high because you can sell at a higher price when you're doing FBA because of prime shipping, and you have to compensate for the FBA fees and so on. So you don't necessarily have to drive the price down like with drop shipping. You can be, you know, above the competition price if you are like the only FBA seller, the only prime seller, and then the price can drop down from there. So, you know, you have to be mindful with both strategies. But like I said before, Amazon is taking care of all the like picking, the packing, the list, the shipping, all of that. So they're taking responsibility for that particular, you know, logistical chain. You don't have to worry about doing all the customer service and stuff. Now, at some point you will have to answer messages and things. Well, you know, the team will have to answer messages on your behalf, but it's fewer and far between. And since Amazon is doing all the shipping and things like that, you typically aren't gonna have to worry about, oh my God, you know, this product isn't what you said it is. Nah, bro, it is what we said it was. You know, it came directly from Amazon. And then Amazon will take care of that, you know, so to speak. So it is a safer way to do things, but it's not a 100% foolproof way to do things, because you're still going to get suspended, all right? It doesn't matter. Every Amazon seller on the planet, doesn't matter if you're doing private label FBA, private label drop shipping, doing wholesale FBA, wholesale drop, whatever it is, you are bound to get suspended at some point, because there's going to be some douchebag out there that complains. Okay, there's gonna be some douchebag out there that does a chargeback, files an A to Z claim, does all these things, and Amazon is gonna listen to them, and then you're gonna get suspended for things that are out of your control. Maybe you forget to put the effing SKUs on your items, and then you just put a regular SKU on, and then boom, it gets intermingled with, with like an inventory pool from other sellers. And let's say they're selling counterfeits. Well, congratulations. If you have the buy box, Amazon pulls from that box from the inventory pool, and it's one of those counterfeit items. Even though you got the buy box and you send in legit inventory, you're getting credited. They send out the counterfeit one. Someone notices, they complain, customer says all this stuff, whoop, 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 boom, you get suspended for sending in counterfeit items. It happens. It happens. Now, if you're doing things the right way, you minimize that risk, but there is still commingling that can happen. Amazon is not 100% foolproof. They're not 100% perfect, okay? I've been on the platform for like a good 7 years now, people. I've seen just about all of it. It does not surprise me when something happens. Okay, so now let's go ahead and wrap up and kind of break down why this introductory price is the way that it is right now. Okay, let's go. All right, guys, so let's talk about the price. Okay, why is the price only $15,000 when other people are charging 40, 50, 60, 70K, and even above that in some cases, you know, for their wholesale automation? One, like I mentioned before, I've been doing this for a couple clients, but we were using industrial and scientific items. We were doing like cleaners, degreasers, things of that nature, a lot of car products and so on. Now, while that works and the margins are higher, you do have to wait because the products aren't near as readily available, and they're heavy, and sometimes they do take up, a lot of space and storage and things like that. So when it comes to this is more general. It's open for the public. There's going to be a lot of items that are going out that people use every single day. And that's typically what's going to help as far as volume, right? It's going to help get your limits increased a little bit quicker. And while the margins aren't going to be 50, 60% like on some of the items I sell for those, those couple of people, this is really, really good. 15 to 30% margins is, I mean, you can't beat that, especially if you're comparing that to drop shipping. And, and this is just more of like to prove it out, like, hey, this is something that can be for everybody, not necessarily for the elite. And it can be done at a price point that is pretty reasonable, given the logistical pipeline and having to build out the warehouse and all this other stuff and so on and so forth. You guys know I do try to be fair. And for the people that don't necessarily want to come on wholesale, when the official price does go up because of all the expenses that are incurred because of this, the drop shipping prices they've lowered. Well, I can't say they've lowered. I've added a lower tier option to help people get involved with automation who just didn't have the money beforehand. And I get it, the prices are very, very expensive. Okay, and I'd say I'm kind of right around the middle of the pricing with the automation industry, but I do have lower tier options so that way people can get involved. Now with drop shipping, there's still no profit split, and I think the lowest option now is $12,500. Okay, so for $12,500, you guys can get involved with automation if you want to stick to the drop shipping route, which is still a decent route to take. You just have to be more risk prone versus risk averse. When it comes to the wholesale, right now it's $15,000, and it does take a little while to spin up. You're probably not going to see your first items inside your store for roughly 6 to 8 weeks. Now, in some cases, it's going to be much shorter, probably 2 to 3 weeks, but just count on 6 to 8 weeks just to make sure we have everything in line and that you have the right products and that the suppliers can get those products to your store. When it comes to drop shipping, unless you have a season account, you're looking at roughly 90 to 120 days worth of seasoning. Not a lot of activity is going to be happening during that time frame, but generally, if you are buy box eligible and you're getting the buy box readily for some of those items, you're going to be getting sales like that. Clockwork, baby, clockwork. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do. Drop shipping is really good to build a cash flow business, something that's going to be bringing in money on a routine basis and something that you can, use to pay your rent or things like that. Whereas with wholesale, it's something that you're building as like a long-term play, is like an actual business and something that can be readily sold in the future. So if you guys know anything about, wholesale FBA businesses or private label businesses, those typically can be sold off for a decent amount depending on how much revenue that they're doing and the inventory that is there, the logistical pipeline, and so on. So maybe that's something that you're leaning towards. You want to have a business that you can, sell down the line, or something that maybe you can pass on to a child or whatever. Where it comes to drop shipping, that is cash flow. That's what you guys care most about. You're like, yo, I want cash flow. I want to make some money. That is what my main focus is. I don't necessarily care about giving this to my kid. I care about making money now to pay for this little, Bratz braces. Okay, so 2 different things for 2 different people. And while one may not be right for the other, it'll be definitely right for that particular individual, and then the money will flow for that person. Again, drop shipping is definitely more risky, and sometimes, it does take a little bit longer to spin up because Amazon just doesn't like certain accounts. Sometimes they hit you over the head several times. You'll be suspended 2-3 times a year. Some cases you might not be suspended at freaking all. It just really depends on how Amazon is feeling or how the customers feel that day. If they wake up and they got a chip on their shoulder or a splinter in their ass or whatever it is, they might hit you. They might hit you with a chargeback, might hit you with, an 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗘𝗚 claim, whatever. There's a lot of things that could happen. With wholesale, it's a little, I can't say it is safer, but it's a little different in that regard because the average customer is not going to file an 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗘𝗚 claim or do a chargeback because it's coming, within 2 days, and, in their mind, it's coming directly from Amazon, which, truthfully it is. But there's a lot less, moving parts. Amazon is taking care of all that stuff for you, and you really don't have to think about it. Okay, Amazon does all that. They put in all the shipping information and whatever else. And you just kind of sit back, and it's almost a set it and forget it type method. Now, nothing is ever going to be set it and forget it, but with wholesale, it's a little bit like that. Now, which one do I prefer? It's either or. You know, I'm dropship all the things, so I'm always going to be a dropshipper, and that's kind of what I prefer because I like the in and out. Okay, I like the in and out, and I like being able to put new items in, remove old items and stuff like that. Where wholesale, I gotta wait. You know, it's like if I place an order, I might have to wait a week for an item to get, to the warehouse so we can pack it up, label it, and then ship it out to Amazon. It's kind of a pain in the ass, you know, but it's safer. It's much, much safer. Whereas with drop shipping, man, I'm a very risky person when it comes to certain things like that, especially in the e-commerce space. So I'm like, yo, let's sell all the things. By the time that this inventory gets checked into Amazon, I probably already sold $20,000, $30,000, right? Probably already sold that, you know, with drop shipping, if not more than that in some cases. With wholesale, slow and steady, baby, slow and steady. So if you're all about slow and steady, then you're probably gonna wanna do wholesale because, you know, it's less risky. There's fewer moving parts, fewer things to go wrong. Whereas with drop shipping, tons of touch points, tons of things to go wrong, but it's a better cash flow type of business. All right, so hopefully that breaks it down for you. Everything is in the description below. Okay, get in the description below. You guys can hit me up on social media. You guys can check out the automation sites for yourself, whether they be Amazon, Facebook, whatever. Everything is down there, people, okay? Click down there and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, all right? You know, like the damn videos. I put the videos out here to give you guys information so you can make informed decisions wherever, you know, your journey takes you, if it's in e-commerce, general business, whatever, okay? So I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Be safe, be smart, peace out.